Hi everyone. Oh, sorry.
Not
Sorry.
yet.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. Hi, my name is Annika and I will be your host today. We have the most amazing Riri Tamura today with us. She's a hand lettering artist and we are going to be working on some greeting cards in Adobe Fresco. I want to say hi to a lot of friends in the chat. I see everyone already. Hey Andreas, hey Colby, hey Wade. Wade is moderating for us today. So if you have any questions for us, please drop them in the chat. And if you are watching after the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge that happened right before us at 9 a.m. Pacific with Kathleen Martin, thank you for joining. If you're joining over on YouTube, hop on over to Behance at be.net/Adobe Live to join in on the fun, to engage with the community and ask all the questions you want. So, Riri, do you maybe want to introduce yourself? Tell us what you're doing and what are we working on today?
Sure. Hi guys, I'm Riri. I'm a art director and also a hand lettering artist based in Southern California. Today I'll be working in Adobe Fresco on some greeting card designs. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Let me hop on over to Adobe Fresco.
Yeah. Do you want to show everybody what kind of work you do so that we get a look of the kind of content people can look forward to in the stream?
Yeah, so I do a lot of hand lettering based on holidays and a lot of illustrations with my designs. I really enjoy, doing natural landscapes, like Don't Forget to Have Fun, National Espresso Day, and, Halloween is one of my favorite holidays. So I've done a lot of illustrations on that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we working on today?
So today we are going to work on a greeting card for my love for matcha. And I can get started. So what I like to do is basically go to custom size, and my canvas size I like working with for my greeting cards are 1000 by 1650. I have it saved here, but
Is that a size you typically use?
yes, I do.
Okay.
Sometimes I like to go smaller, like 4x6. They're kind of cute, but today I will be working with this particular size.
Nice.
Yeah, so just put that in, and then I'll go create document here. And then I like to put on my grids here at a low opacity. This kind of helps me, make sure my letters are all straightened, and, the opacity lets me kind of see through my designs a little bit better.
Yeah. I love the grid feature that they recently added. I think this was added at Adobe Max 2021. Yeah, perfect for hand letterers. And also, I just want to say that Adobe Fresco is a free app. So if you guys haven't gotten your hands on it yet, you should. It's also available on Windows. So make sure to check it out. We are working in Adobe Fresco if anybody's wondering. And yeah, let's get started.
Awesome.
Are you going to do the sketch first?
Yes, I am. So I like using this sketching pencil that Adobe Fresco has. This pencil right here, I even have it favorited. And then I'm just going to use black right now. So let me get a close up. So the typography is going to be, or the line is going to be, "I love you so matcha."
Oh, nice. I love the puns.
I love puns. They're so fun.
Yeah, Randall in the chat says that Stay Spooky one looks so good. Mercurial says the colors are lovely. Everybody's already loving your work. We are excited to see you create.
Oh, thank you. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna start my
awesome.
sketch. So the sketches are all kind of ugly and not very nice looking, but I promise it will look great at the end.
Oh, yeah. There's always that phase with sketches.
Yes.
Amazing.
So I like to do a
So,
rough sketch here.
mm-hmm.
And then, sometimes I like adding these little lines here. I'm actually gonna
Yeah,
move this
the action
aside.
lines.
Yes. And then,
Alana is in the chat. Hey, Alana. Alana says greeting cards are perfect for puns.
oh, Alana, hello. She is actually one of my supporters on my Instagram. I do a lot of share a lot of my lettering work on Instagram, and she has been following me for a long time.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, Alana Flowers is also a hand lettering artist.
Yes.
She was on Adobe Live a few weeks ago, I think. Um, there's a question for you in the chat already. Wow, love it. There's a question that says from Randall: did you learn hand lettering by yourself, or did you do schooling for it? Did you go to school for hand lettering?
So basically I learned hand lettering in school and college. I studied graphic design in college for about 4 years. And from that I learned basically how much I loved hand lettering. And then during COVID I had a lot of time, and when you're staying at home you want to find things to do, and that was one of the things I really got into is hand lettering. And I just practiced almost every day, and just kind of went from there. I think really practice helps. Engaging with other lettering artists can really help you get better. And yeah, but I don't have any traditional schooling for it.
That's amazing. Yeah. I feel like if we practice enough, we can do it. Behance and Adobe live streams, and also YouTube University really helps us all.
Yes.
Nice. So when you do these sketches, do you feel like you always also do this on paper first? Do you sketch out your ideas the traditional way?
Sometimes when it's a little bit more complicated, yes, I do. But when it's like based on like holidays and stuff, I think I just kind of know what I want to focus on. But usually I do start with a sketch either digitally or on paper and then go from there.
Nice.
So
Yeah, sometimes.
Yes. So I'm
sometimes
drawing my little matcha guy here.
Oh, there's a cute matcha guy as well. Nice. Always like adding eyes to everything. I love to do that myself.
Yes.
Also, googly eyes makes everything look cute.
Yes.
Anthony Jackson in the chat is asking, how many puns do you think for your lettering work, and where do you find them? Do you Google them? Do you come up with themselves yourself, or how do you find them?
I think I Google them, but I also sometimes, just think of it myself. I love like anything like food related. I think is super fun.
Yeah.
And they're quite more engaging towards the viewers. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, this is already looking so good. Love it.
Oops. So yeah, sometimes I have to like redo some parts in Sketch, but this is all gonna help in the end.
Yeah.
So this is kind of what I'm kind of envisioning for the overall greeting card. And then I'm gonna make another layer. I think I'm going to start adding color. So I'm gonna move this layer down and add my background color. Actually gonna be using my what's really cool about Adobe Fresco is you can add your own color palettes.
Yeah.
So I have a 2021 lettering color palette that I love using. If you look at my page, a lot of my stuff is green or pinks or blues. So I'm going to be sticking to that palette today.
Yeah, I was gonna ask your 36 days of type. I took a peek at your Instagram before the stream earlier this week. I did see that you use quite a few of these pastel colors. I really love them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're really fun. And I think, mixing a bunch of different colors, and green's always been my favorite color. So there's going to be
Nice.
green everywhere.
Yeah, if it's green, it's Riri. We know it
Yeah.
now.
So I'm going to go to my sketch, and I'm actually going to turn down the opacity so I can start going over the sketch with the colors. So I think I'm going to start with my calligraphy first.
Yeah. I tried using calligraphy pens to no success. I don't know how to use them. So I'm really excited how you work through these. I'm excited to learn.
Yeah, I love using I realized over the past year and a half, I've been into lettering. I love texture, so I love anything that any brushes that have texture. So I'm actually gonna stick with the pencil, but I use the change the size of it. I kind of like using 15 maybe here. And then I'm gonna go over love first. So that might be actually too much. Lower that to 10. And then kind of overall trace the sketch. And then I like to zoom in to kind of see, get a little bit closer look.
That's amazing. So when you think of a piece, do you think of can you envision the final piece when you start creating it?
Yes, I think that really helps. Having when you're sketching, that's what you're kind of already doing. Envisioning the final piece. And sometimes I'll need to change the colors around. I might actually have to change this pink because it's kind of not contrasting well with the background. Might do a little bit of a lighter pink, but I can fix that later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like now with adjustment layers in Fresco, that's also a very handy thing.
Yes.
Yeah, and we have so many more friends joining in chat. I want to say hello to Umagon. I want to say hello to Fergie. Ryan's joining us. Everyone's loving the colors, so pastel and pretty. And now there's puns in the chat as well. Everybody wants tea as well. Yeah, can you get some for me as well? Yeah, and I just want to remind everybody that if you're watching on YouTube, hop on over to Behance. We are at be.net/Adobe Live. That way you can ask us questions and tell us more tea puns. Come, give us all the puns. Love that you're going over the line that you created and increasing the line weight. That is very fun. That's a great technique.
This really helps kind of get my overall shape of the letters. So I kind of like to go thicker at the end of my letters here. And I kind of just like to roughly color in to add that little bit more texture to the letters.
Yeah. Yeah, like using the brush and leaving those rough edges in between, that gives the texture.
Yeah, I love the hand kind of letter look, nothing is too perfect, I think that really gives the personality to the overall piece. So
yeah. Wade says sometimes it's hard for him to concentrate oolong on any one design, but this is so good. Puns, love it. Yeah, I posted an Instagram story right before going live saying it's gonna be a Helvetica good time. Hashtag sorry, not sorry.
I love that. That's so fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
pens are so great.
Yeah, a lot of unfollows after that.
Oh no. So I kind of like
um,
to make use a smaller brush to kind of go in a little bit of the details as well.
mhm.
So I'll
Yeah.
just keep kind of changing the size of the brush
Yeah.
to kind of get into the nitty gritty of the letters. But I think the L is looking good. I think I'm gonna go back and do the rest of the letters O, V, and E.
Yeah. Do you sometimes feel that when you change the brush size and like you tilt your pencil a little, it like creates a very huge stroke? Does that ever happen to you?
Oh yeah, all the time. That's why it's like you kind of have to test it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really um it's kind of a
Yeah.
try on error, I would say, like hand lettering itself too. Like, you have to change the overall proportions sometimes or layouts and colors. So, but at the end, it just, whatever I think you feel good and you're satisfied with, I think anything looks good. um
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome. I feel like all the time that I'm using the pencil brush, it's mostly the brush that I use. And I'm
Uh-huh.
like, okay, am I even using all the brushes that are available to me? Do you have any favorite brushes that you use?
So I mean, this pencil one is my favorite. It just has a lot of texture. I also love using the charcoal
Yeah.
brushes right here. Um, and I also use grain shader brushes. These are super fun. This is something that I purchased outside. And yeah, these are great for textures. And I think later on I will show you. I love using them for the adding 3D elements with the
Nice.
letters.
Yeah.
So I'll show that later on in the stream once I get these letters down.
Nice. Marco joining us from Portugal. Hi, Marco. He says, awesome work. Yeah, let us know where you're joining us from. We have people joining from all over the world. I'm in India. It is officially 11:17 p.m. here. Let us know what time it is where you're joining us from. Tell us everything. More puns.
So yeah, I'm just thickening the letters right here. I'm just cleaning it up a little bit. Like I said, like this brush has a lot of texture, so sometimes I just have to decrease the size and clean it up on the edges a little bit. But I think it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, it looks pretty uniform and cohesive. Have you ever designed like a typeface with the hand
Uh,
lettering that you do?
Not yet. That's something that is going to be on my bucket list next year.
Yeah,
Hopefully. But it does take a
yeah,
lot of time, and I've kind of done it in school once, but not anything calligraphy. Um, but I would love
yeah,
to.
yeah. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Um, there are some questions in chat. Yeah, Anthony asked if you ever make any Christmas cards for someone, or if do you have a shop where people can get the cards?
Yes, I do. So, apart from my hand lettering that I just post on Instagram, I also have a shop that I do a lot of lettering products. So, I love greeting cards. So, I print my own greeting cards at home and sell them. And they're on Etsy. So, just take a look at
Nice.
my Instagram and you can, yeah, check
Yeah,
them
that's
out
amazing.
there.
Yeah, get your holiday cards for 2021 from Riri Shop. Everybody loves the pencil brush. Alana loves the texture. Amazing. Wow,
Mm.
it's all over the time zones. At Ryan's, it's 12:47, New York. It's 8:47 somewhere, and also 1:47 in the morning. Thank you for joining us. It's an honor to have you here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I typically also like do my lettering like because I do also this is something that I do when I have the time, and because my day job is as an art director, this is something that I do at night. So I'm definitely a night owl.
Yeah. Yeah. One night owl to another. So do you feel like your design work really influences your lettering sometimes, like your lettering choices?
Sometimes I kind of went into lettering just because I felt like I needed to have a creative outlet. Sometimes when when you're working at your day job, like it could be repetitive and not something that you want to do. This is like how I kind of, release my inner creativity through
Yeah.
lettering. And right now I'm actually changing the colors with this lighter pink to have better contrast, and I think that looks a little bit better. But I think I'm done here for now, and I'm gonna go back in and clean it up later again. But I'm gonna go on to maybe the eye. Oops.
Nice. Randall asked the question: do you ever get stuck? What do you do if a design just isn't working for you and you just came up with the idea? How do you get out of the art block situation or like a
Mm-hmm.
design that you're stuck on?
Yeah, I think, that's a lot, that's something that I struggle with a lot is an art block. And it's I think what I like to do is really like just take a break from anything creative. Taking a walk really helps, or going to museums. Another way to kind of immerse yourself in creativity, I think. um,
Yeah.
but looking at other people works really helps me too. So I think everyone, how they deal with their art block is different. But
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, great question, Randall. Thank you for the question. Love it. Tori says green is their favorite color too. They're joining from Georgia, USA. And Megan is here. People from all over the world. Hi, Megan. Everybody, all the friends. Love it.
So I actually added another layer. I like to keep all my letters into different layers so that when I do need to like move them around at the very end, it's easier. So
Yeah.
this eye is in a separate layer. I'm just going to close this, and I'm just working on my eye. And this is just
Working
going to
on my
be,
eye.
this is
Yeah.
just my, just a sans serif, I think. Here.
Nice.
Just
Love
gonna,
it. So, do you keep like the line weights same for all the parts of the lettering that you're doing? For example, is the line weight for I same as the line weight for L, love?
no, I think like anything that is like calligraphy, like the love and the matcha are gonna be the same. And I like to keep my like sans serif type like I and you and so like the same. So that
Okay.
gives like a little bit more consistency across the design. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it also gives the variation. For example, the calligraphy part gives the variation to the sans serif that you have. So
Mm-hmm.
like helps you move your eye around for the viewer, which is really neat.
Yeah. Like readability is also very important, I think, in lettering. Like, you can go like super crazy with like the swashes and stuff, but like at the end of the day, I think, you really have to make sure people can read what you wrote, and have a little bit hierarchy to help the eye.
Yeah.
um yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And then I think I am gonna move down to the U and so. And this is also going to be on a separate layer. So
Yeah. Love that. Put everything on separate layers and name your layers.
Yes. Sometimes it's like hard to name your layers in Fresco, but super
Yeah.
important, especially when
Yeah.
you're sending them out to your to get them printed and stuff to third parties.
Yeah. Even if you're like exporting it to a different software, like if you're using the same file in Illustrator or let's say Photoshop, and you want to animate this stuff, it's really comes in handy if you have your
Yes.
layers named.
Yes, especially when you put it into Photoshop and Illustrator. It can get
Yeah.
confusing, a little crazy sometimes.
Yeah. Everything's a pixel layer.
Yes. So, yep, just thickening my letters to make sure it kind of looks the same. I'm gonna go back and check how my eye looks and try to make it a little more consistent with that reference. But I think overall we're getting there. I also like to use the eraser to kind of shape my letters. Sometimes it can get a little too thick here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Do you ever use the pencil as your eraser, like with the touch modifier?
Not really. I think erasers like I like using the hard round variable erasers. I think
Mhm.
that just gives a cleaner uh
Yeah.
like
The
erase.
cleaner edge. Yeah.
Yes.
The
And
cleaner
then
edge for like a more clean look.
yes. And then sometimes, the soft round opacity can really help, give this like gradient look
Yeah.
when you need to erase something. But most of the times I use the standard eraser that Fresco has.
Nice. Yeah. And if you're ever using like a pixel brush, you can actually go in and tap and hold the touch modifier to use the same brush as an eraser. So if you've ever worked in like Photoshop for drawing, it kind of works like the clear mode of a brush, which is very neat, very handy.
Handy. Just making a new layer here to draw out my so. That side. So S is actually like not my favorite letter. Sometimes it
Why
can
is
get
that?
wonky. It just has a lot of curves, and there's different types of like look to S's sometimes.
Yeah.
Based depending on the type of style that you want to go with. This is kind of my standard S, I would say. This
Yeah.
curvy, um, and it has a little bit
Yeah.
of thickness, but yeah.
Yeah. Let us know if you have any favorite or least favorite letters chat. We want to know. Even I don't like S. I tried to design a font and it did not go well.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just making sure my letters are thick. And what can also really help is when you have like repeated like letters, like let's say here O's. Sometimes like I like to just copy and paste them using this lasso tool.
Yeah.
But for now, I think I'm kind of like deciding which O's I like here. And I think I like the one that I'm drawing right now. So I might move that over in a bit to where the U is.
Yeah, it looks good already. Everybody's loving the chalky texture. Wade loves it. Fergie loves it. Everybody loves it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's fun. I was wondering, so like since you want like I, you, and so like the sans serif to be
Mhm,
cohesive and like to look like they're part of the font, do you
mhm.
ever draw them in like one line and use the lasso to move them around?
Yeah, sometimes I do, but I think like overall I like to keep the hierarchy in the
Yeah.
layout there. So like it can I would like to have to move things around to make sure they're all the same weight, but usually this is the way I do it, just like lay it out first and move things around at the very end.
Yeah, sounds good. That way you don't even marry yourself to the sketch, which is brilliant.
So the O, I think I'm actually gonna move here to where the U O is. So I'm gonna do transform and oops. Do deselect. Actually, I want to move the U here. Just
Yeah,
so
Fergie says, on a serious note, this is just beautiful.
I love all the puns that's going on in the chat. They're all
Yeah,
so fun.
chat is going wild with the puns today. I missed a few, but we were talking, so I missed a few. But yeah, there's some wild puns in the chat.
I love it. Puns are so fun.
Yeah, all the tea puns.
So there, and then I'm just gonna fix this here. A little bit too thick here, so just clean it up, and then go. So I'll just kind of like keep coloring it, depending on like how satisfied I am with the overall texture. Like sometimes when you're coloring it, you'll miss like there's like a giant streak or something that I'm not really like vibing with. So I'll go over it a couple times to make it a little bit more solid, but
yeah,
just really want to keep that texture consistent.
Yeah, finding the right balance between the texture and the solidity, yes. If that's a word.
Yes.
So making new words today. Don't worry, chat.
So I guess we can go over to the matcha. I'm gonna use the same pink, the light pink here, just like how I used it for the love. And use a 8 size brush. So I don't really change around brushes too much. I just like stick to maybe 1 or 2 favorite brushes. That way, you know, it's just has a consistent look. So like the pencil brush in Fresco and some of the grain shader brushes are super nice.
Yeah, it also keeps the piece cohesive. With like one brush. Yeah. I know Wade, who's moderating for us, always use just one brush in his pieces. It blows my mind every single time.
That's crazy. Yeah, I think that really helps with the consistency though, like, and it makes everything look, you know, the same. And yeah, so I think I like that, but I'm gonna move that tiny bit over here, just so that's a little bit more centered with the love. But I am gonna start going over to make it thicker. Oops, that is too much.
Pencil. Oh, pencil. Why you do this?
So
yeah, do you plan to print these cards?
Yeah, I think I would love to kind of like print them around maybe Valentine's Day. That could be fun. Ooh. But this could be also, you know, used throughout the year, I think, for any matcha lovers out there.
Oh yeah, we got a ton of them in the chat already. Yeah, make sure to follow Riri on Instagram, you guys, so that you can actually snag these cards when they're released.
So this, yeah, just going over it again very roughly. And then I'm at the end, I kind of like to check everything that they're all the same width across
Yeah.
all the letters. And then yeah, this is how it goes. Oh, this line right here. I would say like this is my primary color palette, this pink and green and white. White is something that I love using in my designs as well.
Yeah. Works great for highlights as well, especially when we have lighter colors like
Mm-hmm.
pastels. Yeah. Love that. We have more people hopping in. I want to say hi to Brandon. Thank you for joining. Say hello if you are lurking. We love the lurkers, but we also love the chatters. So say hello. Tell us about you. Tell us if you like lettering, if you've ever done hand lettering yourself. And if you have any questions, pop them in the chat.
So I'm trying to add a little bit of a curve here, just redoing this part of the M. It's kind of a little bit nicer. Yeah. Curves are a lot of fun in lettering.
Yeah. I was going to say curves are trickier. But of course you find it fun. Yeah, of course. That explains your love for lettering.
Yeah, but I've honestly like progressed so much over the last year and a half. It's kind of crazy looking back where I started, and practice really makes it perfect when you really want to get good at something, especially design. Like you can learn as much as you want in school, but the more practice you have, the better you get. And I used to actually have a background in like visual arts, so I took a lot of art classes as a kid and always loved illustrating. So nowadays my goal is to incorporate a lot more illustrations with my lettering.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, Fergie asks if you what is the longest time that you've spent on a lettering piece?
Ooh, that is a great question. Sometimes like I would like do a lettering piece and I would end up just not liking it. Like I would love the line and like the copy, like or the pun, but then I would end up like after I finish, I'm like maybe not. So I would go back and just redo it. So sometimes it could take me like the whole day. But I would say the longest I've worked on is maybe on average like 3 hours, 4 hours. And I try to do it every day to just get that practice going. But nowadays sometimes it gets a little bit too busy with my full-time job, so I would do it at least 3 times a week, I would say.
Yeah, it's like learning a language, right? If you don't practice enough, you might forget it.
Yes. And there's always like different trends and just the design community general, so it's just good to kind of like be aware of that, and like also like have your own style as well, but just practice and being up to trend is really important, I think.
Yeah. So do you have like any websites that you go to or like for inspiration to look at trends?
I actually like Instagram is a great place, I think. Like everybody is so friendly there, like in the lettering community. And there's so many talented artists out there. So that's my go-to spot. Pinterest is also good to kind of take a look. But I also love books. Lettering books are great to kind of take a look at examples, just to get away from that digital space can be nice sometimes for a change. So
yeah, always great to feel the books in your hands. Amazing. Love it.
So yeah, this is kind of looking pretty consistent. I'm just gonna clean up this matcha lettering right here.
So do you have any favorite lettering books that we can find?
I always love Jessica Heish's like lettering books. They're so cool. She has so many different kinds. And I would take a look at her books. I think she's, honestly, a master at hand lettering. So look at
Nice.
that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I will take a look at that.
Yep. I'm just going over and kind of cleaning up this texture. Like it can be a little too rough for my liking. Yeah.
Yeah, love the clean edges there that you created with the eraser.
Yeah, sometimes sometimes it needs to be a little bit, it might get too rough with this textural brush, but yeah, erasing some parts of it and cleaning it up with the eraser really helps. Like right now, this part is a little too thick, so going back in here. And I like zooming in a lot into my lettering, just to see, all the details in that particular letter.
Yeah.
And I like thickening up the curves at the end.
Do you find that zooming out, when you zoom out, things look different than when you're zoomed in?
Sometimes, because I would get into, I'm so zoomed in and I forget, like, I need to go back and, reference the overall, and like, I'll be like, oh no, that's too thick. So, I got to remind myself here and there that, okay, make sure to go back and check the overall design, so that it looks somewhat the same. Because hand lettering, it can get like, because it is a hand, element, like nothing is gonna be like so like pixel perfect, but you want to at least try and get somewhat looks the same at least.
Yeah. Fairy in the chat asks if you ever use a brush pen to make your hand lettering on paper.
I'm actually like not a fan of brush pens. I don't know, something about it, like just when I use it, it just doesn't like feel right. I feel like when you're, lettering on the iPad, like it can be a little tricky to get the hang of the I guess the feeling of it. Like it could be completely different from an actual brush pen, so
Yeah.
it really depends. But I don't really use brush pen too often, unless it's like actual on physical paper and physical brush pen. So
Yeah. Yeah, I tried using brush pens once and the ink leaked everywhere. And that was the last time I used brush pens.
oh no, that's the worst.
Yeah, I had two of them. I still have one of them packed as is. I did not even dare to open it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, pros
Yeah.
and cons.
Pros and cons for sure. Yeah, that is why I love doing this a lot, because of the convenience that you don't have to like spill paints and your clothes are not with paint marks everywhere anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to point out that for anyone who's just joining us, we are here with Riri Tamura today. She's an art director by day and a hand lettering artist by night. So if anyone's wondering how she got into hand lettering, it's the pandemic that got us here. Yeah, and also resilience and perseverance for sure. So yeah, welcome to the stream. I know someone asked earlier how you got into lettering, so I just thought it'd be fun to drop that in.
Yeah, lettering, like it's honestly, like I think the community also really helped me. Everybody is so nice, especially on Instagram, and I think that really like was like, wow, like this is really cool that like everyone is so supportive of each other, and so I've been kind of doing it for that too, for the people as well, and um, yeah, like having a group of people that really supports you and you can learn from can really help you progress.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I love Behance for that simple reason as well,
Mm-hmm.
because the community here is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody supports everybody's work, and there are live streams as well. So when Adobe Live is offline, you actually can watch other creatives show their creative process. And yeah, there's a big community. Well, it's big and also close knit, so that's fun. People from all over the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think it's looking pretty good. I might change this end of the M right here to kind of match the L curvature here.
yeah,
Um, I think that might look a little bit nicer, so let me do that. But like I said, like I like starting with the overall sketch, but as I kind of progress into the overall like design, and like as I'm doing, the colors and figuring out the weight, I'll
mm-hmm.
change up some stuff. So the sketch is just really nice to kind of make sure you're lettering the correct phrase, and the spelling's correct, but also
Yeah,
like, yeah, having a base really helps.
yeah. There's a question from the chat from Anthony a little bit earlier. Anthony asked, "What would be your quote for 2022 that would make as a lettering project?" Do you have anything in mind?
A lettering project for 2022. I really, really, so I think I really want to get into more like um commercial selling of greeting cards. Right now I print on my own and sell them myself, but I think I really want to start like licensing greeting cards. I think that would be really cool. Um and then I would love to do, I kind of really got into lettering after participating in 36 Days of Type. Um, you
Yeah.
know, that was super cool. So we'll love to do that again. But it can be a lot of time consuming and planning going on because you want to make sure you have a theme. So
Yeah, for sure. Did you plan your sketches in advance, or did you do it every single day?
I felt like I was pretty good about planning it in the beginning. Like I think the first maybe 10 letters, I did a good job. And then after that, work kind of got a little bit crazy. So I kind of had to do it on the go. But I think I at least had the colors figured out. And I think I used
Yeah.
maybe five or six colors just to keep it consistent when everything comes together. But
Yeah.
so yeah, I think that looks a little bit better. And then I'm actually gonna move matcha up because I think it's a little bit too far and not centered quite right. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then the eye, I'm gonna go back to the eye and then maybe lower it right here. And then, so I think what I'm gonna do is start illustrating my little cup of matcha here. I'm gonna use the same pencil and the color. I think for the cup, I'm gonna use white.
Nice. For the highlight, the eye will definitely go there.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, there's a couple more questions coming in from Anthony. Love it. Thank you, Anthony, for all the amazing questions. Anthony also asked, how can one become an art director, and if you print your work locally?
Um, I kind of, I would say like my background was in graphic design, and I did a lot of internships during school um, in graphic design. And after graduating, got a role at an advertising agency where I was a designer, but mostly I was doing art directing work. And, I had a mentor there that really helped me kind of learn skills as an art director. And then I would say I kind of like fell into it. It's definitely different than what a designer does. Art directing,
Yeah.
I think, is more conceptual rather than just actually designing things.
Yeah.
So, and I think I really love doing both. And right now, I have a chance to do both. So I'm very fortunate to be doing that. And then as for the question on if I print, use a source, I actually don't. I have a giant Canon printer at home.
Oh,
So I believe it's got like Canon Pixma Pro 100. Great for printing. And I don't sell very much of the greeting cards, so it's just more cost efficient for me to just print
yeah.
myself and kind of limit the quantities, because sometimes when you order it from an outside source, you need to do bulk orders. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Especially, and you can also test the prints every single time you do it. So, like, it's more
yes,
convenient.
yes.
Love it.
So yeah, sometimes when I do these illustrations, like I'll like outline it and use the fill tool to fill um the shape. That really helps kind of get this like solid but also like texture in there. And it's also faster. So that's cool. And then I'm gonna add another layer at the behind this so that I can add in my matcha here using a darker green.
Love it. Yeah. On the part where you said you would fill the things, did you know there's like a new flare, new feature where you can add color margins to stuff.
Oh
So
no,
like
I
if
didn't
you
know.
yeah, so if you have like a circle, for instance, and you put a fill color in it, you
Mm-hmm.
can increase the color margin. It literally just got released in the latest update. And
Oh,
if you increase the color margin, it's going to fill closer to the edge of the shape that you created.
oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you don't actually need to go in and fill every single time. I used to find it very time consuming every single
Mm-hmm.
time, but now it's helpful.
I did not know that. I definitely need to like. There's so many updates nowadays that like I feel like I'm falling behind in all my Adobe programs. So I
Yeah.
definitely like need like a like like a I don't know, a manual or something at this point to make sure I'm on top of my updates.
Yeah, but that's why Adobe Live is so brilliant. We can
Yeah.
learn new stuff from each other, and I love it. Love it. Yeah, I'm gonna say hi to Jack, who's just joining us. Hey, Jack. Yes, Riri does have a shop. I believe Wade just dropped in a link for that, so you can check it out. I did see some fun greeting cards there, so yeah, that's there. Love the eyes. Those eyes are doing it for the illustration.
Yeah, I like my mouth a little bit closer to the eyes right here. I think.
Kawaii mouth. Yeah, for
Yes.
sure.
And then my little cheeks, put it on separate layer. Everything I like putting on separate layers until, sometimes I'll merge things together, but I think it really helps when you want to move things around, like, it really helps with that. So I'm adding
Yeah.
some little cheeks here. And then I'm gonna go in and do my hearts. Oh, I see the color margins right here.
Yeah. So, like, if you
Oh,
increase it,
wow.
you went all the way up. But if you
Mm-hmm.
decrease it down, it's going to set it by default. So, like, now every
Mm-hmm.
fill that you make, it's going
Mm-hmm.
to fetch these values.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah.
Amazing. I love it. I'm learning new things at the same time.
Yeah. Love it. We have more people joining in. Mystery Designer says they love how it is turning out, and Oasis is joining us. I hope that I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you for joining.
So I will duplicate this layer actually and make it smaller. But yeah, I think this is overall like turning out pretty good. I'm gonna actually turn off my layer of the sketch so that I can see closely. Okay.
Love it. I love how this looks.
So this is a question that I get a lot from people who follow me on Instagram about my 3D kind of style. So what I like to do here is duplicate the layer for the love. And then I will go to the layer that is behind the original layer and then move it down to create this 3D effect. And then I will change the color to a darker color to kind of contrast it a little bit better. So I'm going to use a darker green right here and use a fill tool and just go in.
Wow, that it immediately gave us that 3D look with the shadows.
And then I'm going to color in the spaces actually to fill it up and create a better looking 3D effect.
Yeah, I love that. That was so quick and easy.
Yeah.
Love it. Ilana says this is coming along nicely.
Thank you.
And yeah, the chat is wondering if you have any artists that inspire you, any hand lettering artists that we can keep our eyes peeled for.
I think, I love like the style of Steffi Lin. She I think does an amazing job with like throughout her, she does a lot of like products related lettering as well. And I think, and a bunch of murals as well. Her murals are so pretty. But her style is definitely different from mine. Like I would say hers is a little bit more solid and bold compared to mine, but she's amazing. I would say, Lauren Home, we all love her. I think she is, the one, she was also an art director. So I was really inspired by her background and, the way she's gone into lettering full time is really amazing. But yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, just coloring this in. And then I think like, honestly, like the sketch and coloring in and making sure that the weight is like that takes the longest time for me. But from this point, it's actually a little bit faster because we're almost to the finish line.
Nice. Yeah, I love these colors that you're using. Have you always used this kind of a pastel-y color palette in your lettering work?
I think it's only been this year. I feel like I like get tired of some of my colors like every year, so I'll change it up or add new colors to my palette. But I think I love greens and pinks. I think they're so fun and like contrastful. So
yeah,
this year those are my colors. Maybe next year I might change it up or add some new ones to my 2022 color palette, but yeah. So you can see, it's pretty much there. I'm not loving like how it's a little bit not filled in as much for the pink part of it. So I'm just gonna go back in and color a little bit more.
Yeah, like because you can see right through to the shadow there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, Fergie loves Lauren Holmes' work as well. Love it.
Just, yeah, fixing this, and then we'll go right back into the shadows in a moment. But sometimes, yeah, when you have the sketch background, it's kind of hard to see through, see if, you know, the I guess if the texture is too much or, you know, too little. So I have to go back in and kind of fill these colors out, especially here.
Yeah. Do you ever go back to like add more textures like onto these pencil textures?
Yes, I do. So I will be doing that at the very end. I like to put like an overlay at the top of
Mm-hmm.
this to add this like grainy texture. Kind of like
Oh,
how a
fun.
film camera adds
Oh, that
a,
is fun.
yeah.
I've
I
never done
also,
that in Fresco.
yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I typically use like a paper layer, insert it as an image, and then
Mm,
change the blend mode of it.
yes, yeah.
Do that.
Changing the blend mode is like really
Yeah.
helps make it look
Yeah.
like natural and
Yeah.
nice.
Funny how we like do digital work and then we want to make it traditional, make it look traditional.
Yeah, everything is kind of going in that direction. So it's kind of always evolving on how we can make digital things look a little bit more traditional.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I like how this looks now. I'm going to add another layer at the top of the love. And, you know, my
Mm-hmm.
layers are kind of getting crazy. So I'm actually going to start grouping things here. So if you go here and then select multiple, and then I'm going to just press this group button and then just double click. So in this empty layer, I'm going to use my other favorite brush. It's a grain shader brush. This isn't available in Adobe Fresco. It's something I purchased outside. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I like to use like a darker green here and start adding like a shadow. And I also use a clipping mask, so to stay
Yeah.
within the layer. So here, just like adding a little bit of shadows here.
Is there some place we can get the brush that you're using?
Yeah, so Grit Texture Supply, I think,
Oh yeah.
has
True
great
Grit Texture
brushes.
Supply.
Yes,
Yeah. Love
they
them.
they're they have a lot of great texture brushes there, so definitely check them out. Um, but this is one of my favorite brushes from there. Is the grain shader
Nice.
set.
Yeah, kind of gives that dissolve effect in Photoshop.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Yeah, so it doesn't need to be perfect, but I do, you know, like adding like wherever shadows might exist
Mm-hmm.
here. And then I'm gonna use a the same color green, the original green, to kind of like um, lessen the shadows and make
Yeah,
it a
make
little
it
bit natural.
blend it across.
Yes.
Yeah. Kind of like smudging, but not really, because if you smudge, you'll probably lose the grainy texture. So that's a very
Yeah.
fun trick.
And then
Yeah,
I like to
nice.
go lighter green now. So just pull it up a little bit. And then in the same layer, I'm just gonna add like a little bit of like the highlights, maybe where the light would hit, to add
Mhm.
that effect.
Yeah, this is already looking so great. I love that it's so easy to create like a 3D
Mm-hmm.
thing. Like if I would have looked at this, I wouldn't have ever guessed that this is how it was created.
Yeah, it's like a basically a duplicate. It's super easy and it makes it look fun. And then yeah, we're gonna add another layer. And this is where, you know, I like adding like highlights sometimes. So
Hmm.
just a little bit. This is probably one of my favorite parts. It's kind of fun. Like it's very kind of
Yeah,
sometimes randomized, but also intentional at the same time. Um,
yeah. I was going to ask, do you feel like there's a light source you have in mind when you make the shadows and the highlights?
Usually it's from I think the right side. So
Yeah.
this is kind of, but sometimes I would change the shadows around and depending on the piece. But this is where the light usually comes from, at least when I letter. I'm actually...
Okay, got it. So like green and light from the right
Yes.
is Riri. Yeah, no,
Love
I'm
it.
just kidding.
I love that.
Oh, you love it. Okay, yeah, I wasn't kidding. No, yeah, I love it. It did not look like it would. I mean, I did not expect the highlights to do so much for the lettering, but it does. It does change it a lot.
Yeah, so it kind of looks like this now. I think, it's not so flat anymore and adds a little bit of personality. Yeah, and then I'm gonna move down the U and so now. And because my layers are getting crazy, I'm gonna group it so that it's not covering that. And then I'm gonna do the same thing with the matcha part. So
love that. Yeah, we're almost at the 1 hour mark, so I think we've made good progress.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Same thing, duplicate here, and just use a darker green and shift it so that it has that 3D effect too. I think I need to shift it a little bit more to match the other 3D effect. And then I'm just gonna make sure these are grouped so I don't get confused.
Yeah, a lot of layers.
Yep.
I always do it. Tap on the layers.
Yeah.
What am I working on? What layer was this? But yeah, that's when grouping really helps. I just put that in the chat as well. Name and group your layers, friends.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of new people joining us as well. Hi, Robert. Thank you for joining. And also over on YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to hop on to Behance at be.net/Adobe Live. And you can ask all the questions and engage with the community.
So just coloring, doing the same. Oops. Yeah. Sometimes, like, when you're working on, I'm working on the iPad, you can touch things and then random streaks might come out. So that's what just happened to me. Yes. I'm just coloring in the empty spaces here. Yeah. So yeah, that looks pretty good. Liking the 3D. Making an additional layer and clipping it so that stays within the layer. And I'm going to use the same dark green, the same green shader brush. Add my shadows.
Wade in the chat says hashtag team name your layers, especially before sending your work to others.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think all designers struggle with it. I don't think I know anyone who names their layers consistently, but yes, that is very important.
Yeah. I just put like tree left, tree right. if it's just like me, but I always name my layers. Of course it's different. Like the naming convention is different when it's client work. But like when I work for myself, I just name it tree left first, tree left second.
honestly, yeah, whatever that like works best for you, like
Yeah.
when it's personal work, but
Mm-hmm.
can be different from client to client, production to, yeah.
Yeah.
Just adding my highlights.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, we are working on some greeting cards in the free Adobe Fresco app. You can download it on your iPad and even on some Windows devices. So make sure to do that. And yeah, we are working on this fun code. It can be either a Valentine's Day card or even used all year round for tea lovers. And that's what we're doing. We're just creating like 3D hand lettering now.
So I'm moving down. I grouped my little cup of matcha
Mm-hmm.
so that he's there, and then I'm just organizing it a little bit better so that nothing is overlapping with the other elements right now. But I think I'm going to add some details to the cup. I'm going to add some shadows. So doing the same thing, making a new layer and putting a clipping mask. And I'm going to add maybe a gray like shadow to the bottom with the same grain shader brush.
Nice.
So that he's not so flat looking.
Yeah. Yeah. Robert says looking great, Riri. Anthony likes the values and the shadows.
Amazing.
And yeah, Randall also says it looks great already and so quickly. Umakan also loves it. Everybody loves it.
Aw, I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna fix this cup shape right here because it feels like it's a little bit crooked. Maybe not even. So oops. There's that streak again. Yeah, an undo button really helps.
Oh yeah, for sure. Control Z. Command Z.
Yep. Sometimes I would be like sketching on paper and I'll be like trying to press the undo button or command Z it, and I'm like,
where's the undo?
like, wait, that's not right.
Yep. Something's wrong there. Have you ever
Something
tried
is
zooming in on the paper as well? Is
Oh
that a
my
thing?
gosh, yes. All the time. All the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get so embarrassed.
Yeah. Well, it's not just you, it's all of us. Yeah, I have also put my paintbrush in tea while painting. So
Oh gosh.
yep. Don't ask me if I drank it, but I have put it in the tea.
Oh god.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I've done that too, but with coffee, and I almost drank my coffee. I'm like, wait, there's paint in it.
No, don't do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is fun. I don't think it's all anyway like 100% if you don't do that. Like if you're a creative and if you haven't zoomed in on paper yet, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. It's a problem.
Yeah.
I'm just adding a little bit of highlight here to the hearts. But yeah, so far I'm liking it. I'm gonna try and go fix maybe the sans serif here. I'm pretty satisfied with how love and matcha and my little illustration works. Actually, I'm gonna add a shadow to the bottom of the cup. Just moving my empty layer down.
Yeah, they look very, very consistent. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Gus is in the chat. Hey Gus, how are you today? Happy Monday. Hey Rick, welcome on in. Paloma, welcome on in, everybody. We have new watchers joining us. Thank you for joining. Paloma loves the letters and is obsessed with matcha. Perfect stream for you, Paloma.
I love it. So many matcha lovers out there.
Yeah, I've never had matcha. Just saying.
Oh, what? You're missing
Yeah.
out. But it is a acquired taste, I will tell you that. It
Yeah.
can be not as enjoyable.
But But isn't that with everything though? Like if you ever have tea black, isn't that also an acquired taste because you're not used to the
Yes.
bitterness, I guess?
Yes.
Yeah. But I feel like I haven't done it because I want to use it like the authentic way to make the tea.
Mm, that
So
makes
yeah, I don't
sense.
want to ruin my experience.
I'm just going back to my eye here. I don't think the bottom is as even as it is on the top, so just making sure. And then I'm gonna move it so that maybe use the I have a grid in the background
Yeah.
to just kind of help so that it's even.
Yeah. Everybody's getting tea in the chat. And Paloma says the matcha green tea ice cream is a must try. I don't know if I've ever tried that.
Oh, it is delicious.
I tried a green tea Kit Kat. Does that count?
That kind of counts, I would say. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I liked it. Yeah. That was fun. Everybody misses matcha. Jack just made some tea with the caffeine. Love it.
Ooh.
Love it. Everybody loves the work so much that everybody is getting some tea because they can't resist it anymore. I'm like,
Oh
we
my
want tea.
gosh. I'm like a very heavy coffee drinker, and sometimes I just need to take a break from coffee, so I'll switch over to matcha here and there.
Yeah, I am also a coffee drinker, so like I switch over to green tea when I want to get off coffee.
Yes.
Less caffeine.
This
My
guy.
green tea is not caffeine free, so
Oh.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. So I'm just making small tweaks to my sans serif lettering right here.
Mhm.
Just to clean it up a little bit, since we are reaching the end of this piece.
Nice.
Oops.
Yeah, we have some tea and coffee chat going on in the chat.
I love it. Yeah. And I like using a smaller brush to go into the details. But yeah, I think it's looking good.
Yeah, it is looking good. Nice. It looks so good. I feel like it looks really good with the composition itself, like the spacing.
Yeah, I feel like the Y is actually a little too long. Maybe. Yeah, sometimes I'll just like keep working it. And sometimes it's not too good to overwork it, so I try not to, but I can't help it.
Yeah, I always feel that if you're hand lettering something, you can just like look at the words and feel like, have I spelled this correctly? Because you've been staring at it for so long.
Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I get tired of it and I just have to like redo it completely, which is so bad because whatever time I wasted is out the door.
Yeah.
But
yeah, but you always learn from that process, right? So
yeah.
I guess it's not a waste after all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll just like use this selections tool to kind of make sure like the height is kind of somewhat similar. So that's what I'm doing right now, and the spacing as well, just to make sure it's kind of right.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like it almost matches the sketch that we made initially, so that's pretty nice. I'm always afraid to like turn off the sketch. I'm like, how will it look?
And then
Like, especially with painting, you know.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. Um, I'm going to add maybe like some sparkles. I don't know if you guys checked out my lettering on Instagram, but I love adding little sparkles and stars.
Yes,
Um,
to sparkles. Put them everywhere.
so I'm going to draw some right now with my pencil.
Love it. Fairy loves the texture. Fergie hopes that this goes on your Etsy store so she can order a print of it.
Oh,
And Mayur says love the colors. It has a tea-ish feeling.
oh, that's great.
Fun. Yeah. Now you gotta put this to your Etsy store. You have to.
So yeah, that's one sparkle here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll like duplicate these so that I don't have to, they look somewhat consistent, and change the size. So I might put one right here. Again, duplicate it.
Yeah, great trick.
And put one here. Duplicate it. And put one here. And maybe one more by our matcha guy.
No, yeah.
I also feel like in my original sketch, I added some little lines around the U and so I'm going to go back and put that, and those will be in the same pink, and just upping the size of my brush. And this one needs to be a little bit straight. And then I'm going to move it here a little bit closer and duplicate that and put that on the other side as well.
So. Yeah.
Make sure the spacing is somewhat similar. Oops, I think that's a little bit too high. Yep. I love that Fresco like has this snap to grid feature.
Yeah.
That lets you snap things. So that.
I love that. Yeah, you can center things and move them around.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
My curse.
Yeah, if you guys are just joining us, we are working with Riri. And when Adobe Live is offline, we actually host the creators from the community. Make sure to check those out. We have all of the creatives from the community showing off their process. So make sure to tune in. And if you're on YouTube, hop on over to Behance, say hello to us in the chat. We are at be.net/Adobe Live. Love that. Those lines really added the movement and the pace. Looks amazing.
And then I think I might add another type of sparkle I like adding is like a circular version, like bubbles. Oops. Gotta change up the size. So little bubbles kind of add a little bit more elements to the design.
Yeah, again, making your eye move through the design. Very fun. Yeah.
Oops. Right here.
So do you ever use like, I'm sorry, do you ever use other apps in your workflow from taking your work to something else, perhaps like Photoshop or Illustrator?
Yeah, so like when I like printing obviously you can't print in Fresco, so I'll transfer it over to Photoshop and then make sure the colors are right. Obviously when you're printing, it has to be CMYK. So making sure those color profiles are correct for printing. And then any resizes I like to do in Photoshop. Anything that I do in Adobe is usually more illustrative work or vector work. Anything that I want to do some vector lettering helps. Sometimes I would do some logo lettering, and those will be done in Adobe. So I think I use pretty much most of the Adobe programs or the standard ones. And it definitely helps to be able to use all those, just so that they all have different functionalities, and it helps.
Yeah, and I love that you can put stuff in the libraries, and like the Creative Cloud libraries really help you move around in the apps.
Yeah,
it's like my favorite feature from the ecosystem. Love it.
Yeah, that's how I like put my color palettes through the Adobe program. I have my 2021 color palette, and that's from my libraries. So that really helps.
Love that. Yeah, and I bet you that the design background really helps with like using Illustrator, because someone starting off with Fresco might be like a bit of a curve learning vector programs, but like knowing both is like definitely easier. Fresco is like a great app to like get going with stuff.
Yeah, definitely. It's so fun, and like I feel like if you get the hang of Fresco, you can easily learn Photoshop. And there's always like new updates being made. Like I think it's really cool, and it's also free. So
yeah. Do you ever use Photoshop for your lettering work?
Not since the iPad has come out. I feel like ever since the iPad, I've just stuck to it. It's so much easier, and it has a more, I feel like, a natural lettering feel to it, like how you write on paper. So
yeah, that makes sense. I also don't use Photoshop on the iPad.
Yeah, I feel like Photoshop is more for like, I mean, for my full-time like job, I use it a lot to like comp things or mock up things. And
yeah, same for me. And especially since now there are adjustment layers on Fresco. I typically used to make my artwork in Fresco and then bring it to Photoshop. And now I can just like tweak the adjustment layers in Fresco itself.
Yeah,
so, like, that's fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I want to say welcome to John and Anastasio. Thank you for joining us. Anastasio says, wonderful live with many wonderful techniques. They're learning a lot here from Brazil, tuning in from Brazil. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, fun.
So as I'm finishing up, I just like to make like more and more tweaks to just make it a little bit more solid. So I'm just fixing. There's some bits and pieces where it's a little bit too much like open space. I'm just coloring it in. My little cup of matcha.
Nice, cute cup of matcha. Love that. So, like, did you have fun working on the 36 Days of Type challenge? Was it your first time joining in?
It was my first time. It was pretty, I would say, intense, very intense, because I wanted to make sure that it looked consistent across my Instagram feed, with the colors. And then mine was like inspired by space a little bit. And I try to think of things like P P for planet was, I think, one of my favorite letters, and I added planets, and it was like cool, like galaxy type of feel to it. But
Oh,
yeah.
nice. I did not know you had a theme. I did my first 36 days of type this year as well. And I did a floral theme instead. I was like,
Ooh.
let's go florals.
Yeah. I think having a theme for, that challenge really helps.
Yeah.
Because you can make the letters like stand for something, P for planets, and so I think that really helps. But there were some amazing like entries for sure for this year.
Yeah, Mayur in the chat asks, is there a reason for using the brushes, like the pencil brush that we're using, and not opaque brushes?
Yeah, so my style is a lot of textural. I love just using texture in general, so I like only using a couple brushes. I have my favorite here. I like using the charcoal pencil, sometimes a pen to kind of fix and clean up the strokes a bit. Regularly, I just use a pencil, and then for the True Grit texture supply brush, I got from, I use the grain shader brush kit. It has all kinds of different brushes. I can show you guys here. And that I use for the shadows and, these highlights that I put in to add more texture. So
nice. Yeah, love all the texture. And I feel like it helps in like the post processing as well. You don't have to add as much texture because you already have a base layer with texture.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know why I like gravitated to texture. I feel like, when you're starting out, it's super hard to find your own style. And it takes a lot of time and practice. But the things that I started noticing during my, when I was lettering, I noticed that like a lot of the references I pull and a lot of the artists I like have use a lot of texture. So maybe I'll try incorporating that into my lettering, and that's how I kind of got here. Is with my style is just practice and noticing things that you like about other artists and just kind of experimenting. And
yeah, that's the pro tip right here. Yeah, that's how we learn. I think that's like the best way to put it.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, it's not good to copy other artists, but what you can do, I think, is build upon it and kind of collect things that you like, and you'll start noticing, oh, these are some things that I don't like, these are some things that I like, maybe I can try this out. It's trial and error. And style, I feel like, isn't something that you have, like, it keeps evolving, right?
Yeah,
So
for sure.
So it takes time though.
Yeah, I think with experience and like doing it repeatedly every single day
Mm-hmm.
really helps with the process. And that way we just find those common elements that we really like.
Yeah.
So like the safe color palette that we all have, we use that. And then there's some textures, some techniques that just like forms our style in the end.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel like, anyone who's trying to find their style, I would take a look at people, artists, and, references that you like, and maybe write them down and, try it yourself and see if you can combine some of those things. And, maybe that can really, lead you to your own unique artistic style.
Yeah. Great tips there.
So I'm just right now, just like editing and tweaking little things that I'm noticing as I finish this piece up. Sometimes the thickness is off, or sometimes I just not really digging the stroke width, and the texture. So that is what I'm doing at the moment. I feel like the sans serif type, like I'm a little bit like more I feel like I tend to edit these types of letters more, just because I wanted to look all uniform. I feel like in Adobe
Yeah.
Illustrator, you like put it in your text box and everything the same. But when you letter, like it's very freehand. So
yeah, that's definitely a skill to have. I think I might give it a try. You've inspired me to do some hand lettering.
Oh yeah,
Might give it a
definitely.
try.
Definitely. I mean, it also really helps if you're like, I'm also a designer myself, and
Mhm.
if you do a lot of like logos, clients love custom
Yep.
lettering,
Yep.
and anything custom they love. So I would definitely give it a try. It could be useful in that area,
Yeah.
for
I love
sure.
making typographic logos, so that will come in handy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great idea. I should do it. Do it.
Do it, do it. So layers, as I said, can get crazy. So I'm just organizing them. These are the sparkle layers. So I'm just putting them into groups.
Love all the sparkle.
Yeah, they're very fun.
That's our alignment grid that we like.
Yes, we do. We love it. And sometimes you just have to like optically just look at it and like align things, but looks good. And then I'm going to edit my love lettering right here. Just cleaning up this tiny little bit smudge. It's my eraser.
Love that. I love how it looks already. When do you think you can call like a piece complete? Like
Yeah,
how do you yeah.
that's something that I struggle with. Like sometimes I'd be like, oh, it's only going to take me an hour or two. And then ends up being like 4 hours. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm just like tweaking. I feel like it's like a gut feeling type of thing.
Yeah.
So it's honestly like whenever you feel like it's finished, like, um, and I think that's okay, especially if it's your own personal work, as long as you're not tight on deadlines.
Yeah. That makes sense. So
Yeah.
do you ever get like freelance work for lettering as well?
Yeah, I did something super cool this year, for a uh, I think it's an organization. It's called Merch Aid, and
Mm-hmm.
basically, it's a program that was like created. They work with a bunch of different artists to create merch, basically T-shirts, totes, anything uh, that and posters as well. And they work with a bunch of different artists, and they reach out to them and ask them to create these merchandise to raise money for small businesses. And
Mm-hmm.
for my when I did it, it was to support uh, the whole ongoing Asian hate program, so or issue going on. So to support
Mm-hmm.
Asian small businesses, I created a bunch of like lettering for them, and it was super cool. And yeah, like I love doing like nonprofit kind of things. I think that
Yeah.
one's always like fulfilling, and um, you know, I love being part of a community. So those are the types that I do work on. Anything else I've done? A lot of merch for sure, like T-shirts and posters and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's amazing. Especially the part where you actually contributing to like giving back to the community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and And then at the very end, I like using a white color and going back to my green shader brush set, I like using like the very, very small grain builder brush. Maybe it's 5. But this is like the overlay texture that I was talking about earlier.
Oh, yeah. Chat, this is what you want to concentrate for.
Yes. So
revealing all the lettering secrets today.
Yes. And I'll turn off the grid so you can see the whole thing a little bit better. But it's very minimal. Actually, I'm wondering, this is Grain Builder 3 is the one that I like using. So
ooh, look at that. What?
So
that is crazy.
Yeah. And then I just go to screen and play around with the opacity. It really depends, you know. I stay around like 45-50% opacity, but it adds a bit of texture to the overall thing, and you know, I think it makes it nice. Yeah. Actually move the eye a little bit so it's optically centered. And
yeah, highlights are usually tough, and Biola agrees. But this is a very fun way to add the highlights as well, like texture to the piece.
Yeah, I do sometimes like highlights, like the ones that I have here in the hearts. You know, the line kind of style one onto the letters. But my standard kind of highlights are just these texture highlights for at least my 3D lettering stuff. So
yeah,
I'm wondering if I can move little bits of the stars to the side so that it's just a little bit more centered optically.
Oh yeah.
Oops.
Love it. Anastasio in the chat says it is a unique and beautiful work of art that adds an incalculable exclusivity value.
Oh, wow. Thank you. That's such a very nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Viola loves it as well. Omicron loves it. Everybody loves the highlight trick that you showed us.
Yeah, definitely, you know, check out True Grit Texture Supply brushes. They're super useful and creates a unique sort of texture to anything. They have, you know, not just for like Fresco, but like for Photoshop and Adobe. Like, yeah, definitely check them out.
Yeah, I feel like there are so many Kyle Webster brushes as well. If you have like a Creative Crowd subscription, you can go in to discover all the brushes from the brush libraries, and I think there are over 2,000 brushes that you can choose from. So I rarely ever go outside Kyle T brushes.
Yeah.
There are too many for me to keep track of, and I almost have like 20 brushes in my favorites as well now. So I'm
oh
like,
my gosh,
I'm done now. I don't want more brushes. Love me some Kyle brushes.
Same with fonts. I love collecting fonts.
Oh yeah, I had 1,500 fonts activated in my font library. I had to delete and deactivate everything the other day.
Oh my gosh, from Adobe Typekit.
Yeah,
Wow,
I'm a
I
font
didn't
holder.
know. Oh wow.
Here I am
I
wondering.
didn't even know that you could like have that many active on Adobe.
Surprise, surprise. Yeah, you can check it on fonts.adobe.com and you can go into my manage fonts. I think that's what it is. And it's also available on the desktop app. So I was wondering why my Illustrator was slowing down, and I'm like, hey, what is this? Let's go and check how many fonts I have activated. Yeah. a little over 1500, and then I'm like, deactivate all. Yep.
That's crazy. Yeah,
That
that
is
one
crazy.
makes sense. I'm glad you found a solve for why your computer was slowing down. We all have
Yeah.
horror stories of your computer shutting down in the midst of your work, and yeah, always back up your files. The one thing I love about Adobe Fresco is it's connected to your Creative Cloud, so
Yeah.
you always have it backed up, and you can access it on Photoshop or Illustrator, and it's always going to be there. But it's definitely important to make sure your files are all backed up so you don't lose it.
Yeah. Amazing. Paloma also gets lost in the font libraries often. Yeah, me too, my friend. Me too. Randall says, Annika said, I like them all. Yeah, activate everything. I am that person, yes.
If only our
Yeah.
computers could hold that many and not
Oh,
slow
yeah.
us down. I would do that as well.
Yeah. Love it. We're almost at the 15-minute mark now. This has been really fun.
Yes, this has been. I'm almost about done. I'm just making, again, tweaks that I see as I, take a look. But it's pretty much there. My little matcha guy is there. And yeah, I've been having a lot of fun being on the stream.
Yeah, chat. If you have any questions, last minute questions for Riri for today, let us know in the chat. We will love to answer them.
Definitely.
Yeah. What do you have in mind for part 2 tomorrow, Riri? What are we doing tomorrow?
I have been doing this really awesome challenge on Instagram called hashtag 12 days of creative cheer. And, for 12 days, I'm following this prompt by a group of 4 girls, and they've tomorrow I'll be working on a piece for the December 15th. I believe the theme is Deck the Halls. So that should be
very
fun.
holiday.
Very holiday. I'll add some lettering, but also illustrating as well. So yeah, please join.
Yeah, for sure. Part 2 will also be fun. I'm excited to see it. So will you have the sketch ready, or will you like create that live as well?
I have the overall sketch ready, but I think I want to show the overall sketching process. But I genuinely know what I want to do, so definitely join and come watch the process for that.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, we have some more friends joining us. Thank you for joining. We're almost at the end of day 1 with Riri Tamura here, but we will be back tomorrow at the same time, so 9:30 a.m. Pacific on Adobe Live.
Yes.
We still have a few minutes to go, so like we're doing the final touches. It's been amazing learning all the 3D tricks and like the overlays.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah.
Just want to add a little bit maybe more to the heart. Just like a tiny bit of a lighter color to it.
Yeah.
Go.
Oh, there's that dark pink. I was wondering where you put that.
Yeah, it's just for the shadows for the hearts, maybe.
Yeah,
when I was doing learning like visual arts when I was little, like I used to take a lot of like art classes, and that was the one thing that they really like honed in on, is like shadows, where light comes from. And I've always I think it creates depth, and doesn't make the illustrations flat. So
yeah. Light and shadows really make or break your illustration or your lettering pieces. Yeah, fun. So, do you ever do like multiple versions of the same theme? Like, for instance, we have the Deck the Halls theme for tomorrow, like 15th.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you ever think that you would make multiple pieces and like pick your favorite one,
I for like that particular theme, like deck the halls, or
or just generally, if you're
generally,
working on a piece?
um, I might change the colors for some of them. I think, that's always fun to kind of experiment colors.
Yeah.
I feel like in the beginning when I started, colors was like something that was really hard for me to
Mm-hmm.
kind of grasp, like what kind of colors go well, what contrasts well. So that's also like something I learned, looking at other people's references or, books and pieces that I liked. So I think that's how I kind of landed on my 2021 overall color theme, is through that as well. Yeah.
Love
And
it. Yeah.
my logo is, green and pink. So the
Oh, I'm just noticing that. Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah. I saw your logo and I just noticed when you said it. Yeah. That makes sense now.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I probably, rebranded myself like so many times this year.
Mm.
And I finally got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm satisfied. And it also has a little bit of my lettering element to it, my logo. So
Yeah. And do you ever like do the same phrase as well in like a different treatment? So like placing the type in a different space?
yeah, I think especially with like the holiday stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Halloween, and I think I repurposed some of the lines and phrases
Yeah.
there for this year. And then, you know, especially like Merry Christmas and things like that, like you kind of have to. So, but I'll try to like find a different way to letter it or illustrate it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I just want to point out that we have 5 minutes left here with Riri for day one. So, chat, if you have any other questions, let us know. And Riri, would you maybe like to give us like a recap of how we started this illustration, what we did, and
Mm-hmm.
how we got here?
Yeah, sure thing. So, maybe I'll just like I mean, I still have the sketch, so,
Yeah.
I can turn these off.
Mm-hmm.
But what I did today was um, start with this sketch over here. I love you some matcha, for the love of, matcha.
Yeah.
And use the color palettes from my Adobe libraries right here. Um, and then started off with the calligraphy love, and then also matcha, and then added the 3D elements here with the highlights and all. And then kind of worked through the um, I and the U and so as I went, and kept editing it. Also added a little bit of illustrations with a cup of matcha and hearts. And this could be for Valentine's Days or all year round greeting card. So keep an eye out for
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah. It's gonna
yeah.
be on your Etsy shop, right?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
it
And
will.
what are we doing tomorrow? Do you want to share the plan? Do you want to give us some sneak peeks into tomorrow's work?
Yeah, so I'm working on hashtag 12 days of creative cheer, and tomorrow, or at least the December 15th theme is
Mm-hmm.
deck the halls.
Yeah.
And I've been doing it for the last couple days. You can check out my Instagram for the rest of the prompts that I've done so far. It's
Yeah.
Christmas theme. And I think I will be illustrating possibly a nutcracker. Um,
Ooh, sneak peeks.
and along with the phrase deck the halls, where I will be lettering that portion. But it'll be also a mix of illustrating and illustrations and lettering. That's something that I've been kind of trying to incorporate more into my style, especially with this challenge. I wanted to start. I do have an illustration background, so I just wanted to start adding that more into my lettering and see what can happen from there. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds very, very fun. Do you want to put any last minute touches to this, or would you call this done?
I think it is about done. Yeah, I think this could be a totally cute greeting card for the next
Mm-hmm.
year. And I like we said, I have a uh, online shop that sells greeting cards and stickers. So feel
Yeah.
free to check that out as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Riri. Thank you for joining us for day one today. I had a lot of fun and learned a lot of things from you. Stay tuned for the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge with Julia Waka up next. And we will be back tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Pacific for part two with Riri. And immediately followed after the Daily Creative Challenge with Julia, we have the video editing with Wojtek Plichto. So stay tuned for that. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and see you tomorrow. Bye.